Good morning, everybody. It's at 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm gonna make this video short and to the point. Yeah, so my biggest reason for doing this is to help anybody who is a victim of domestic violence, or maybe they don't even realize they are in a mentally abusive relationship. Maybe they do realize it and they don't know how to get out. There are resources. There should be more resources, which is my end goal here, to be able to make it more available and let women know that there are places that they can turn to for help. So, in 2003, the night before I was going to see an attorney for the second time to divorce my husband, the tables turned very quickly and my whole life changed. So, I obviously am not going to go into all the details because it'll take a long time. But I will tell you, the minute that he knew, and I believe that the minute any narcissist knows that you have figured them out, or an abuser knows that you are done and you are ready to pack your bags and leave, is the most dangerous time of your relationship. So, even if there has not been any physical abuse directed at you, there are signs, and you know what the signs are. You just keep choosing to ignore them. Stop being nice, stop ignoring them. You need to get in your logical brain, because they play with your emotions and it could cost you your life. So, hear my words. If you are planning on breaking up with your abuser, you need to move in silence. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I'm going to just back up here a minute. So, my ex-husband at that time knew I was serious about following through with seeing an attorney. He was living in our house upstairs at the time. He refused to move out. So there had been a lot of tension for about 6 months prior to this evening. And he was on the floor begging and crying, "Don't break up our family, don't do this, blah, 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 blah." I told him that I was planning on going to see the attorney the next day, and that was that. So, I got up and went to bed. I had my 2-year-old in the bed with me at the time, and he came in, and he was angry now. So he went from crying on the floor to a fit of rage, and he came into the bedroom and he yanked me by my ankles, went to yank me from the bed, telling me that if anybody was going to leave the house, it would be me. So when he did this, he noticed that I had the house phone in the bed with me, because there had been so much tension in our relationship that I felt safe that way. So, long story short, he left the bedroom. I dialed 911. I got nervous. I hung up. I called my dad. My dad said he was going to call 911 and he was on his way. So, 10-15 minutes later, I went outside. My father had told me to go outside and wait for him if it was safe, which is what I did. I went out with my youngest girl. My other 2 girls were asleep. Police officer showed up with my dad, explained to me that I was going to need to press charges if he wouldn't voluntarily leave, and whatnot. You know, mind you, at the time I'm crying because I'm very emotional. I'm not wanting this to happen the way it's happening. I didn't want to get him in any more trouble. I felt bad. I still felt bad for him, which, you know, almost 20 years later just blows my mind. But anyhow, so we went into the house, and we had gone into the kitchen, and my ex-husband was sitting in the living room, and the police officer got me to agree that I had to press charges. There was really no other way to have him leave the property. So, by the time we walked back into the living room, he had taken off on foot. So, this prompted a foot chase in the neighborhood. And police dogs and a lot of police cars showed up, and they searched for him for a few hours. Anyhow, they weren't able to find him. My dad decided to stay at the house, and he said, go to bed, I'll stay on the couch, and if he, I'll keep an eye out for him. So I went to sleep for, I don't even really know how long it was, a couple of hours, I guess. And then my dad woke me up and said that I needed to get dressed because I needed to go down to the police station. My ex-husband had come home while I was asleep, while my dad was on the couch, and got in his truck and left. And my dad called the police and let them know what he was driving and which direction he headed. And they caught up with him, and my ex-husband decided to lead them on a high-speed chase. So the chase ended up by the expressway, and an officer was on their way to pick me up so that I could go pick up the truck, and then I had to go to the police station to file charges. Anyhow, so he gets arrested, and they bring him to jail. I go pick up his truck, I go to the precinct. I was waiting for quite a while. I left to go get a cup of tea. Well, while I was heading back to the precinct, there was a cassette tape in his truck, and I pushed it in, and I was listening, and I was recognizing the voices, but I wasn't sure what it was that I was listening to, and I quickly realized that it was all of my incoming and outgoing phone calls from my house phone. So, with that being said, I went back into the precinct, and I asked them if it was legal to do that. And they said no, it was a felony charge in New York at the time. I don't know if it still is or not, but anyway, so that was added to his charges. I got home, but now it was probably 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and my dad said, you need to pack a bag and leave. And I said, why? He's in jail. And my dad said, they're going to release him. He could be out as early as noon. And I said, how is that possible? He led police on a high-speed chase. He did this, he did that. My dad said, they're going to release him. We need to get you into a hotel room and get you safe. But thank God for that, because I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for my dad knowing this. And sure enough, he was released from jail with a restraining order put in place, and he took a cab from Riverhead County Jail right to our house. And I know this because he went through a window, I guess, to get his truck, and his keys were inside. So my point here is, if you are going to try and break up with a narcissist or your abuser or whatever you want to call them, you need to move in silence. Because the minute that they find out that they have lost control is the minute your life is in danger. So, if you think you're with an abuser, you probably are. Abuse comes in many forms. There's financial abuse, there's physical abuse, there's mental abuse. But move in silence. Have your whatever important documents that you need. If there's children involved, make sure you have birth certificates and social security cards in place, and take safety measures. And never say never. Don't think for a minute, because you've been with this person for 20 years and they've never done this or they've never done that they're not going to do it. They'll do it. I never expected my ex-husband to lose his cool the way he did. And yeah, I never in a million years saw that coming. So an order of protection or a restraining order wherever you live means nothing. Have a safety plan in place for yourself, and expect that it's going to get ugly and it's going to get worse. Stop being so nice. Stop being so naive and stop being so nice. You are putting your life in danger. And there's a lot more to this story, but I wanted to get that message out here this morning because that is one of my biggest passions when it comes to helping other women. Is you are at a very critical it can become very dangerous for you very quickly when you have finally gotten the strength to speak up and leave. So I'll come back with a lot more, but I just wanted to get that out there. I also wanted to thank anybody who's been following me on this new YouTube journey. I've officially made it through my first week, and I'm feeling the love and the support, and it's only going to get better from here. So, love and peace. Enjoy your weekend.